Hey guys, welcome to the channel, and this is the first video in my Python in-depth tutorial series. So without wasting any more time, let's get started. So the first thing that you will need to type your Python program is an integrated development environment IDE, and the best environment that we can work on in Python is called Jupyter Notebook. So what do you need to do is that you need to download Anaconda Navigator. You can do that by yourself. Just search to download A- Anaconda Navigator, and then you can go to this page, scroll down, and here's the download button. So you can download it from there. After you download the Anaconda Navigator, open it, and in that application, just open Python Jupyter Notebook. I can directly open my Jupyter Notebook from here. So this is the interface of Jupyter Notebook, and what you need to do is create a notebook for your Python program. So just go to new and click on Python 3 notebook. Okay, so this is the interface of your notebook. I'm going to tell you things about this notebook later on, but right now what we need to do is to write a program. So this is a cell where the cursor is blinking. Here you can write your cell line of code, a single line of code or multiple line of code, like a is equal to 5. So I am assigning 5 value to a. So how can we run it? And just press shift enter. Now if we want to print the value of a, print a. Now again shift enter, then you can see the output here, 5. This is how you run your cell in a Python 3 notebook in Jupyter Notebook. Now the first thing that I want to talk about is variables. So what are variables? Basically, as you can see here, a is a variable. Variable is a name given to a memory location where a value is stored. Basically, the memory location I am referring to is here is in RAM. Okay, so now, like, if I am saying a is equal to 5, so what is happening, like, in the memory? Suppose these are memory blocks, or this is a your RAM, and here you can store a value. So here I stored 5 and give this block the name a, so I can use it later. And this is these are variables. Basically these are used to store your values in your program, because you won't be able to make good programs without storing any values. Like, uh, suppose you are storing student data files, student data, so where you are going to store these kind of data, you can store these data in variables. So there can be multiple kind of variable, as I said earlier, like you can store student data. So let's do that. So student name, student name, uh, it can be anything. Let it be my name, Gagandeep, and I have run it. Now I'm gonna print it, student name, shift, and here it is, Gagandeep. So this is also a variable, and this is also a variable. Now the difference between these two variables is that this is an integer kind of variable and this is an string kind of variable. Student name holds the value of a string and a holds an integer. So the next thing would be, I want to show you what other types of variable we can make in Python. We can store float values, like b is equal to 8.6, sorry, 8.6, or we can store individual characters, like a is equal to c, c is equal to c basically. Now if you want to print b, then it is 8.6, and c, then it is c. Okay, now the second thing that I want to talk about are constants. Basically constants are nothing, just they are those variables that does not change with time. Or like, I have a, if I want to see a is 5, but if I want, I can assign a is equal to 6, and now if I print a, it will be 6. So what is the difference here? Let's take the example of pi, I guess. Pi, we all know that its approx value is 3.14 something. So this is not going to change ever. In other languages, there is a keyword known as const, which forces you to not change the value later. But in Python, there is no keyword like constant here. If you want, you can change the value of pi, but as pi is always same, so I suggest you that you don't want to change it. And this is a constant. Pi is a constant. One more thing that I want to tell you about is that Python is a dynamically typed language. What do you mean by dynamically typed language? If let's say, for example, if you are coding in C language, then if you want to store in integer data, then you can see, like, you had to provide this keyword, and int a is equal to 5. If after that, if you store a is equal to 8.6, then it was illegal in C language. But if you are doing it in Python, then you can, like, at first you can assign the value 5, assign an integer to the variable, and then you can assign and float to the variable, and it is not going to be a problem. So you don't have to mention the data type. The thing I am talking about, it is called as data type. So you don't have to mention the data type, that what kind of variable or what kind of value you are going to store inside your variable. Okay. The second thing I want to tell you about is that Python is dynamically stored. Now many people, like almost everyone, knows that Python is a dynamically typed language. Okay. But many people does not know that it is also dynamically stored. So what do I mean by dynamically stored? uh, Let me just give you an example. So if we are like let's say we are comparing C with Python. So what is going to happen in C language? Let's see that first. Suppose have we have declared two variables, A and B, and in both we have assigned value of 5. I am talking about C language here. So in both we have assigned 5. So you can see that although the data is same, it is taking twice the space. Okay. But now in Python, it does not work like that. Python is very, you can say, space efficient. So what is going to happen in Python is that if you have a single value stored in two variables, then what a Python interpreter is going to do is that it is going to store the value in a single place, and then A will point to this value and B also will point to this value. Okay. Now what happens then, if you want to change one of the values, one of the variable values? So let's suppose that you want to store 3 in B. Okay. So what is going to happen, that a new memory block is going to be used, and there 3 will be stored, and B will be pointed to that. Now let's say again that a variable named C is uh, a variable named C has a value of 3. So what is going to happen is that C is also going to point to this location. So this is going to save your memory, basically save your RAM. And now let's move on. Okay. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is comments in Python. So, what are comments? Basically, comments are nothing but those lines which are only going to be used by any programmer who is going to read your program. For example, let's say I'm making a program, to convert Celsius into Fahrenheit. But if another programmer sees that program, how is he gonna figure out that this program is converting Fahrenheit into Celsius or Celsius into Fahrenheit? So comments are helpful for the programmer. So how to make comments? And one more thing, that interpreter is not going to read the comments. It is useless to interpreter. It is only used by the programmer. So how are we going to make comments? So I have already like did that in the last thing where I was explaining this. So this is a comment. I made a comment that coding in C language. So I wanted to, when I wanted to show it like this. So this can also be a comment. This can also be a comment. So where you this is called a single line comment, like a plus a plus b, and I want to do it like this: c is equal to a plus b. So I can comment it that sum of two numbers. Easy. Now there are also a multiple line comment. How you can make that is by this. Now this can be this will work as multiple line comment, and this will be ignored by the interpreter. Here you can see that there is a backslash n. I guess, yeah, there are three, because backslash n. What backslash n means is that you are referring to the new line. Backslash n means new line character. So you can see like there are three new line characters because there are three new lines: one, two, three. So this works like that. Now we are gonna make a simple, a little program to convert Fahrenheit into Celsius, or you can say Celsius into Fahrenheit. Okay. So yes, one more thing before we do that, I want to show you how to take input from the user. Like if a computer asks me like what is your name, so I must be able to provide it. Okay, right? So we can use it by doing by using input brackets, and then we are going to enter the string. Always remember that string always comes under this. Okay. Now let's say enter temperature in Celsius. Okay, so now when I'm going to do this is going to be like 35. Enter. But where does that value is going to be stored? Okay, so for that we are going to make a new variable cal for cel Celsius. Okay, and now when I'm going to enter the value like 35, and I'm going to hit enter. So now Celsius has the value 35. Now what I we need to do is that we need to create a we need to convert Celsius to Fahrenheit. Okay, so the formula for that is FA. FA is for Fahrenheit. Okay, FA is equal to Celsius into 9 divided by 5 plus 32. Right now, I also want to tell you that you need to figure out which operator is going to be processed first, like whether multiplication will be done first or division will be done first. And this is going you have to do it by yourself. I will tell you how you can look it up. Just look for associativity PT, associativity and precedence in Python. You can search it on Google, and you should do it by yourself. So I have written the formula for converting the Celsius into Fahrenheit, but this formula is not going to work. Let us check why. You see, because it is saying type error, unsupported operand type for string and int. So it is saying there is a conflict between the data types. So why is there a conflict? Because whenever we use input, so it takes the value as a string. So we have to typecast it. Typecasting means conversion of one data type to another data type. So this is how we do the typecast. Now again we will run this cell 35, enter, enter, and now we can check the value of FA, that is 95. And there is also one way to check whether our formula is correct or not. I don't know whether you know it or not, but Celsius and Fahrenheit is equal on minus 40 degree temperature. So Celsius, and our Celsius was minus 40 and our Fahrenheit was also minus 40. So guys, yes, one more thing that I want to tell you before we like move out. for this video. The thing I wanted to tell you is that there are these things called operator and there are things called operands. So like a plus b. Here plus is an operator and a and b are these and a and b are operands of operator plus. Okay, so there are many kind of operator like a minus b, a divide by b, a modulus b. I'm going to tell you later what a modulus b is going to do, or what can we do, a multiply by b and a this. So I'm going to tell you what are these going to what are these operators do in next videos. So I think this is enough for the first video, and I'll see you on the second one.